see the camera as well.
What's up, profitable stylist? Good
Wow, we're
morning. What is it about the
Retail.
most? What? Oh man! Wow, I really goofed this one.
Retail.
What is the most number one complaint from your clients, and how to avoid the number one complaint from your clients? That is, they say, I love it when you do my hair at the salon, but I can never repeat it at home. Now, why? It's retail, people. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So we got Bernard. Bernard, you got a couple of friends. Who you got with you over there today?
I'm going to let them introduce themselves.
All right.
I'm Bernard. I work at Onstage Hair Studio in Slidell, Louisiana. And these are two of my newest, actually. I mean, there's one girl in the salon that's newer, but more licensed, I should say. In Louisiana, we can apprentice stylists. So these two girls are apprentices in the salon. So they are full-fledged hairdressers that are getting a license as they're doing hair in the salon. So they're doing school in the salon. And I thought it'd be interesting to take the two newest ones and let them introduce themselves. And they actually do a decent job selling retail to that beginning number of clients they have. And I know today's topic is a little bit more about retail and our experiences and our opinions. But let them say who they are. They had no idea what we were talking about today. So go. Who are you?
I'm Isabella, and I work at Onstage Hair Studio.
I'm Corie McCaffrey. I'm the newest person.
So we're using the microphone on there, so you might have to yell a little bit. So we got Isabella and Corie. And I'll wait till we get a little deeper into this to get a little bit more of ask them some of their numbers. But I wanted to talk about my beginning experiences with retail, but it looks like you're ready to say. Did you want to add a little more, Eddie, before I go into this?
So the thing what brings this, why we're going on about this topic and about this subject, here is what we're going to be breaking down. All right. Oh yeah, and thank you very much for buying Bernard a coffee last week, people. Thank you very much.
Yes, somebody bought me a coffee. Richard, I think, bought me a coffee.
Richard bought you a coffee last week, so thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
If you do a good job, he might buy you another one, or somebody might buy you another one.
Today, come on, somebody buy me a coffee, because I'm going to keep drinking it, and somebody's got to buy this stuff. It's how you guys support us, give us some money, make us some money. It's sort of like Patreon, but it's called Buy Me a Coffee, or two. Or three. And I definitely drink more than one a day. So hey, hit subscribe and hit like and comment, please. It really helps us out. I hate it when people say that, so I feel so terrible when I do it. But it really is what helps make these things move forward. So let's get to the point. Go ahead.
All right, here's the point. The complaint, 67% of client retention, or the reason why we lose 67% of our clients when surveyed about client retention is they were never told. They like their stylist. They think they're very nice, but that's about it. They ain't never told how to do their hair at home. They can't do their hair at home. They can't repeat it. They don't know what to do with themselves. And they figured, I saw something else somewhere else, and I figured I'd go do that instead. Okay? Now that's 67%. That's 2/3 of your book, people. That's a lot of people that you're losing out, right? Now, retail has been a huge, strong argument for a long, long time, and it comes down to two things. Are you a retail center, or are you a retail display? And thank you, Vinci, for teaching me that yesterday, because a retail center means... Bernard's wife, Vinci, I was...
Give them a little tiny bit of background, because everybody watches like, who's Vinci? I heard of Corie, Isabella, Bernard, Eddie. So my wife, who's not in this video here today, Vinci, and I and our staff, we were just talking about retail and numbers. I won't go into too much detail just yet, but statistics and some things. And so Eddie and I, my wife, kind of talked yesterday about this live today and some of our thoughts and opinions. And apparently she schooled you on some things,
she schooled me on some things, and I'm very appreciative. Look, and that's the beautiful thing about our industry, and that's the beautiful thing about what we do. And that's what it means to be a profitable stylist. Every day you learn something, and you stay open-minded to listen to other people's opinions and other people's thoughts. and we pool all that together. We bring it over here and we share it with y'all. This is why we ask for the comments every week, because this is how we are creating our content. We got a mile-long list of stuff we want to talk about, but really, Bernard and I are doing this based upon what is it that you all want, need, think, and this is why we compile all this information. You know, it's all fun and games sitting there and doing all this research, finding out all these numbers and these statistics, and at the end of the day, it don't mean nothing if the information is not valuable.
What did Vinci teach you?
Language is important, and being proper, having a proper mindset, a positive, proper mindset going into it is important as well too. People will buy emotionally. People will not buy logically. I'm always arguing with people because I'm trying to always remove emotion out of my daily life. I'm trying to go about things logically. Now, if you cannot connect with somebody on an emotional level, and if somebody is not going to purchase, if everybody purchased everything logically, forget about it, we'd be poor. People buy emotionally. They have an emotional investment, and the reason for that is they want some kind of attention or affection from somebody else, which is the reason why they coming into the salon and making themselves look dolled up. You know, they're trying to get prettied up, right? I get a haircut because I want to be presentable. Bernard, we can't all look like you, buddy, so you can't interject over here. Wow, what's up?
So no, I just want to I want to get to this retail thing really quick and maybe put out there what people are thinking. Should you sell retail as a hairdresser? Should you not? Do you feel guilty about it? That's kind of what the topic today is.
That's the topic, yeah.
Do we sell retail? I was not I've been doing hair 30 years. I wasn't a strong retailer in the very beginning, and I'm almost a little scared to say what my beginning thoughts were. So much I didn't like them that I called my business partner on the way to work this morning and said, this is what my thoughts were going back to the very beginning as a brand new hairdresser selling retail, and fix me if I'm wrong. What am I thinking incorrectly? And my very first thought was this girl became my mentor. They said, okay, Melissa, you teach Bernard how to be a hairdresser, how to sell services, how to sell retail. And I was like, oh God, I was so scared. She was like the top stylist in the salon. She worked right next to me in her tall, skinny red heels and looked so perfect. And I was like, oh God, I don't even know if I can do a haircut yet. And she said, listen, you got to sell retail. And I said, how do we make money? She said, well, if you sell retail, you make 10%. If you upsell services, you make 50%. So we sell more services than we sell retail. Okay. I said, yes, ma'am. And so I thought, if I up $2 at the shampoo bowl, because back then, I mean, we don't do it in our salon, but we don't add money for conditioner. But back then it was like, you charge the customer $2 more if you put conditioner on their hair at the shampoo bowl. I thought, and I make $1, I can easily sell $2, but I got to sell $10 in retail to make that same dollar in retail. Why would I waste my time selling retail? And RJ this morning, my business partner, he said, well, for one thing, you can do both. I said, good answer.
I agree.
See, Mr. Logic, this is why we don't do logic.
Yeah, so I thought, okay, so that's a good place to start. You can do both. It's just a few more words. He said, and you don't have to physically work when you sell retail. Those are the first two, like, big aha basic moments. He said, you sell a service for more money. You have to do the work to make the money, which is fine. You make more money. Then while you're doing that service, instead of talking about, which everybody loves gossip, we're going to talk about our lives and their lives. It's going to happen. But why not replace a little bit of that with some talk about something that would make us money and make their hair look a little better? So that's where the retail came in. And so he said, you sell retail, you don't have to physically work to make the money. That's why you should sell retail. And then they come back and buy more of it, sometimes when you're not even there, and it can still go under your numbers and you can make money. So it's an income you don't have to physically work for. I thought, okay,
well, and
those are
here's
really good
the other thing too. If you are not selling to them, they are buying from somewhere else. And if they're buying from somewhere else, they are listening to somewhere else. Right? So we do all this work and we do our consultation. We put a plan together. This is what we're going to work towards to get them to look how we want them to look like. But then somebody else is undoing what we trying to do. And it completely messes up our entire service. Now, I hear a lot of stylists tell me, I'm an artist, I'm not a salesman. Yeah, I understand that. Okay, fine, good for you. You're an artist. At the end of the day, imagine if I said to you, you paint me this beautiful picture, right? And then I go screw it up with the frame. I put the wrong frame on there, or I cut it the wrong way, you know? It don't look right afterwards. I done messed up your whole work.
Right.
So this is the kind of the stuff that we are talking about, is we got to keep everything in perspective. Now, one big complaint that I get from stylists is it's awkward. Another one I get is the price points. Another one I get is I can't compete with the rest of the world out there. You know, I was sharing this thing where I seen a stylist using a product on a client, explaining it to them. The client grabs their phone, snaps off a pic of the product, and then goes online and purchases it for themselves. That means
right in front of you.
Right in front of you. They then right in front of you on their phone, they look it up and say, boom, thank you, ordered it.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. And they say, thank you, I ordered it. It's the most insulting thing in the world. Now, there is a disconnect between us and our client in those situations. So let's tackle down each one at a time, right? Let's start off with, I'm an artist, I'm not a salesman, and the reason why people say that is because they are awkward. They don't know what's the right verbiage, or they don't know how to approach asking
Let's ask
somebody.
these two newbies real quick. I'm not going to keep them in here the whole time.
Okay.
I just want to ask them, they sell a decent amount of retail. What's your opinion, Isabella? How do you sell retail?
So first off, during my consultation, I will include their products that they need specific for their hair. So that goes in their price automatically, so that when they get their services done, you're already getting your products with that. So you're not paying this money for your hair to be done and then going home and using something that is not going to be good for your hair, ordering off, different websites where it could possibly not even be the right product.
Yeah, there you go.
And things like that.
So what do you think, Corie?
You're explaining to them during your consult that the only way this is going to work is because they need to maintain it with these products. So these products is actually an extension of your service.
Right. Correct.
Okay, that's awesome.
So we have a salon coordinator at the front desk that helps support that. So she just puts it on the front desk or says this is part of the service. Sometimes they reject it, but most of the time it's just part of the service on the desk, come in with the ring up. What's your experience, Corie? How do you sell retail?
I just explain all the products that I use in their hair as I'm doing their hair, and I explain what the uses for the products are and how it helps the hair and how it helps the style of the hair. And I just convince them. They're like, oh, you need this for such and such, and that just convinces them to get it. And then I'll go to the our product wall in the front, and I'll say, you could also use this and this and this.
Choices.
Yeah, I'll give them choices of what they can use in their hair when they're not in the salon. So, and then they'll buy some, or they won't buy some, but most of the time they'll buy the products that I show them.
You can do buying. So it sounds like to me that you are explaining to them the benefit of why, when they use whatever product you're explaining to them, and then the options of, if you wanted to do this, get this one. If you needed to do this, get this one. Hearing it from us directly is the world of difference, because it can also tell you how many times a client comes in and says, I got this product. I'm not going to name the name of the stores that they gone to,
Why don't you want to say Ulta?
Ulta's with the coupons. They say I got the 20% or the 30%, right? So they go in there and they got the little person, kid, whoever, employee over there who's not even a hairdresser, and they're like, look, this is what my manager told me to sell you this week. This is what you got to buy because it's good stuff. They have no idea. They have no investment.
Well, let's talk about what really happens in our town with Ulta. Our own hairdressers had the mental thought or idea that Ulta was cheaper than us. We even thought it. And that's where my wife said, are they? And we're all like, we think so.
Right.
And so she said, let's find out. So a little bit of homework really did a lot of good for us, because she looked it all up. She found all the prices. And in most cases, we were a few cents cheaper than Ulta. Now, in some cases, they were a little bit more, but basically what I'm saying is they were around the same price. So it was a myth that they could leave here, go to Ulta, and get a better deal. They promote and market themselves as a discount retail product kind of place, but it's not even true. They're kind of high. So we are able to tell people that now, that no, you're not necessarily getting it cheaper at Walmart or Ulta or the drugstore. Even if it is diverted. I know some people go with the story of you shouldn't buy diverted. It might be counterfeit. It's no good. Support the hairdressers doing your hair. But my wife brought that one other point up. Like you said, emotional instead of logical. Support your local business. Those Walmart and Ulta are not local. So, I mean, sure, it might be the right product. You might get good results, and you might even save $1 or $2. But is it worth it? I mean, help the local business. Help the person doing your hair. I think most people have that emotional connection and want to help you out, even if it is a little more. You just have to ask them, tell them, have that communication.
People don't know what they don't know until they know it. So whether we tell them, whether somebody else tells them, they're going to hear it from somewhere. And people crave stuff. People want to buy stuff. People want to use stuff. Even the people who say, I don't do nothing to my hair, I just wash and go. Well, you're still washing your hair. You're still using shampoo. You're still using a conditioner. You're still using a something, right? So that's what it really comes down to. So that's a great point. The other thing that people say is the awkwardness when somebody says, okay, so you explain how to use the product, what product they should use, and now they ask you, how much is it? How do you deal with the awkwardness when people are asking you, how much does this cost?
Oh, you're asking them. Go ahead.
That's a good question. So, like I said, I put that in on their consultation as their full price. And then, if it comes up of like, oh, well, this is too much or things like that, I go back and revert to, you're supporting your local business. Like I said, you're getting your hair done. You don't want to not have the correct products for your hair and things like that.
Do you have
Hey guys, things like that. That's a real Southern thing. We say it a lot.
That's right.
Yeah, we end a lot of sentences with things like that. Means nothing, but we just say it. That's all right. I say it too. What about you, Corie?
Honestly, don't find it awkward telling my clients the prices, because their hair. If you don't want your hair to be nice, then you don't spend the money.
But why are you coming here at all?
Yeah, if you want nice hair and don't have to come in once or twice a week to get your hair washed and get all the good products in, then you got to buy the products and take it home.
Or they could. That's a good point. Or don't buy the retail. Just come in once a week or twice a week. We'll shampoo, condition, put the styling products, and do your hair and charge you money. And then, and that does happen with some clients.
What I'm hearing is, it's the authority. You girls are commanding your chair. From the second the client walks in to the second the client leaves, you are in control of that appointment. Unfortunately, too many times when a client comes in, stylists, when we're doing classes, Bernard, you've run into this as well. How many, we get a lot of stylists that say they're beaten up and they're terrified of losing their clients. They're terrified of saying the wrong thing. They challenge us a lot to say, oh, I can't do like that behind the chair. My clients will get angry at me. You have lost the respect. You have lost the control of your own business, of your own chair, and people are not going to put any value or any weight upon what you are saying. So that's what I'm hearing, is that you're just calling it out straight away, straight up front, and you letting them know this is what it is. It's a great analogy. One of the things I remember growing up, my mother always used to tell me, you can have anything you want, just go get it. but she ain't gonna
Right.
help with nothing, right? We were just poor. She didn't have enough. She had enough to put food on the table, and that was about it. So I remember getting sick. She'd tell me, have a cup of tea, go lay down, and then get up and go to work. And I'd be like, I think I need to go to see a doctor. I don't feel good. She goes, well, that's on you, kid. I ain't paying for no doctor. Doctor going to tell you the same thing. Doctor don't know nothing. Now my mom is off the boat, foreign as hell, okay? So to her, doctor don't know nothing. A cup of tea, fix everything, go lay down. But then go to work. I go to the doctor. Doctor sees me for like 2 seconds, charge me $100 office visit, writes me a script that I got to pay another $30, $40 for, and says, take this for 2 weeks. Let me know how you feel. We'll adjust it from there. I'm like, son of a bitch. He really doesn't know anything. So
I'm always right.
Right.
I get to the pharmacy. They tell me the script's going to cost like $30, $40, something like that. I said, I'm not paying that. So the pharmacist says, well, you could take this thing from the counter over there from the shelf, like over-the-counter medicine, right? And it only costs $5, $10, something like that. All right. A week goes by. I don't feel any better. I'm all angry. I get the bill from the doctor. I start arguing. Doctor says, did you take the prescription that I wrote you? No, I took over-the-counter. Well, I can't help you. Fill the script that I told you to fill, and you're still paying your bill. And come in and call me in a week if you don't feel any better. There's nothing else I can do for you. Goodbye. Freaking guy hang up on me. So it's like, it's the same situation with us, right? We respect the doctors because we're supposed to. Why are we not supposed to respect the stylist who has the complete... Do you girls understand that you hold the entire self-confidence of somebody in your hands? Like if you goof their haircut, they are destroyed. They're gonna cry. But if you make them feel good, they worship you girls. Like to the point where they become stalkerish. They will find you if they can't get a hold of you.
Right. So the way I see it, now that we're kind of talking about this, the way they command it like that, is hairdressers across the world are in a mindset that they're going to live in and believe that whatever they're in is what they believe. Your reality is the truth about your life. Mm-hmm. So there are hairdressers or people in general who are able to charge lots of money, and then the ones that can't. People that can sell retail, people that can't. People that can even do good work or can't. So it's all about what you believe. That's why I love the position we're in now, because I was that person where I didn't believe a lot of stuff, and I got to the point where I do believe I can be the best, the most expensive, the busiest hairdresser on the planet if I want to. And I love talking to hairdressers every week and trying to help them get through it. There's this one, I won't name her, there's this one in another state that's always buying hair extensions from us, or our newest product, like the beaded topper. And she goes, what do you sell it for? And I told her $1,500. She said, oh, nobody's going to pay that around here. I said, how do you know? Did you do a consultation yet? I have a girl now that needs hair. I said, try telling her. She goes, I'm going to have to tell her, how much do I buy that thing for? I give her the price. She tries to mark it up like $100 and says, I'm going to tell her this cost. I said, no, you're not. You're going to tell her $1,500. She said, maybe I could do like $1,100. I said, just tell her $1,500 and see what happens. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? She's going to say, no, go away, and you've lost nothing.
God forbid somebody says no. This thought of rejection.
Just try. And she did it. The woman said yes and wants to buy it. And she just didn't have the belief. You just got to give it a try. Just try. Just like with the retail. Most stylists don't sell retail because they just don't try to sell retail. They don't think they can sell retail. They don't think people are going to pay for it. They don't think people need it. Maybe they, as stylists, buy their own retail at Walmart. So they just assume their customers are also. Mm-hmm. So it's all about your belief. And this is one of the things that RJ helped me figure out too. He said it's not just about selling it to make money, because that's part of what we've talked about here. Command respect, have the confidence, sell it to make money, but it's also about the customer has a greater respect for you. Absolutely. When they buy retail. There's actually statistics out there that say if you aren't selling retail, if you're selling under a certain percentage of retail, you will go out of business. That little extra money is what helps pay the bills, but it's not just the bills, it's these psychological things that people don't that are very hard to measure, but over a long term, the people who sell more retail retain their clients longer, because it's just one of those gauges of self-confidence. Like you said, I'm confident about doing your hair. I'm confident it's going to be really good. And that's because I also say, you need to use this. And you do, so you like me more, so you stay longer, so we both have a better relationship for a longer period of time. There's a lot of just unmeasurable, unsaid things that happen when you sell retail. You just have to do it because it's the right thing. And like she said, they're gonna buy something from somewhere. So why aren't you selling it to them?
So now I'm gonna interject one thing, and then we're gonna get right back into it. Bernard, say hi to Richard. He's just got on, and he's saying hi to you.
Hi, Richard.
So, Richard, Bernard did thank you earlier for the coffee from last week, so appreciate that.
That's right.
Now, the next thing that we're going to get into, and this is something, Bernard, you have mentioned in the past before, it's about square footage and the productivity of all the space as an owner in the salon, okay? Whether it's 1 square foot, 10 square feet, 100 square feet, you need a space that is a retail center. Corie mentioned it earlier. She says, I went up to our retail wall. I grabbed the products and I let them know what's up, and I put it at the front desk with the coordinator, and that's how the stylist knows what's going on. Whether you are an individual, independent, whether you are a renter, whether you're a what do you call the studio spaces, whether you're in a salon, it doesn't matter. If you are a retail displayer, that just means you have a dusty shelf, you have 1 or 2 products on there, and nobody knows that they're supposed to come up and touch that they're supposed to grab that and buy that. If you are a retail center, it matters not, at least in my opinion, it matters not how big or small the space is. If it's got products lined up on there, the space is clean, and it's got the signage. So when I walk up there, or when the client walks up there and they say, summer blowout, 10%, buy one, get one, whatever it's, or if it just simply says, retail, buy me.
Right.
You could just simply say,
right.
Take me home,
Right. And part of what Eddie's leaving out here, I think I want to mention something that you're kind of assuming the audience knows that we talked about yesterday. Eddie said he's gone into some locations where the hairdresser he'll ask, like, where's your retail space? And they'll say, right here. And it'll be 3 bottles on a shelf that looks like their own personal use products. Right. It might even be all dusty. It doesn't look like retail. So I think the main point he's making here is it doesn't have to be huge, but it has to be in some way designated to look like this is a buy me area, like you said. This is retail. In my opinion, it needs to be more than 1 bottle of each product, maybe 2 or 3. Years ago, I worked at a salon. I went from a JCPenney salon to a little hometown mom and pop shop to owning my own place. So I only worked at 2 other places. And the other place I worked at, after 2 or 3 years of working there, I noticed we didn't sell much retail. We had 2 or 3 little bitty shelves behind the counter, and I thought, we can fit more on there. I went to this class. It was a new product at the time. I don't even know if it exists anymore. I remember it was called Sensience. It was pronounced like Sensience. I mean, it's pronounced Sensience, but it looked S-E-N and then science. And I went to this class, and I loved all the products. I thought, we could sell this stuff, Marty. Marty was the owner of the business. And he said, okay, what do we need to do it? I took a little business card and I wrote down what we needed to put on the product shelf, what we were using, what the other hairdressers liked. And I said, this is what we need to buy. And when it came in, he freaked out on the bill because it was like $700 worth of stuff. This was like 25 years ago. And I said, you okayed it. He said, I didn't think you could fit that much on the back of a business card. But he wrote the check, freaked out. We put $700. Do you know, we sold more than $700 in retail that week that it showed up because all the hairdressers were excited. It looked like a retail area now. It was a new, pretty product, of course, and we were all excited. So it was crazy. A class, believe, product, looking like an area, and then try to sell it. And it sold. He was so impressed. that we were able to sell retail. That was my first experience with like changing my mindset too. I'm like, wow, if we just put it out there and say we have it and say you should have it, they'll buy it. That's the start.
And that's really, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. You are the professional. You are their lifeline to their look. You are completely in command of achieving whatever that desired result that they are asking for. They need to take you home. They can't take you home. So the only way by proxy that they can is buy the retail that we suggest and we sell to them. Now, if they're not buying it from you and they're getting it from somewhere else, you can't guarantee that it's the same exact product. Maybe I've had it where a client bought a bottle that looked similar enough to the one I recommended, right?
Oh, no.
Turned up to be, it was a completely different product. It was
We're going to have
overdosing
to
the
go.
mess
My
out your
phone
hair.
is almost out. Wrap this up. Got to
So
go.
that's what it comes down to. That, be confident in the price like we just heard about. Have a proper display. Don't worry that they're going to say no. Let that be the worst thing that happens, is that they say no. All right? Everybody, thank you so much. Hit us up with your comments as always. Let us know what you like. Get Bernard a freaking coffee.
Get him
Yes.
a coffee.
I need a coffee.
We'll catch you all next time.
Bye, guys. Thanks.